Press Start Podcast.
Hey, welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. This episode number 112, and this week we welcome on Kaylani to the podcast, but I also welcome on my co-host Scott, aka Scopy One. What's up, my friend?
Hey, not much. You stole it from me. I was gonna say, welcome to our newest co-host, Kaylani. Glad to have you here. Can't wait to see everything you have to bring to this show. How are
Yeah,
you doing, Vic?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just trying to get through the busy work week. I'm working 8 days straight just so I can have off for my birthday weekend. And but when I do go back to work, I work like 10 days straight because I did put in requests to have off for Call of Duty, even though that is a hot dumpster fire that's not even out yet. But you know.
Yeah, I was. I'm interested. I'm interested that you had said that because you were boycotting it for so long, and then
Yeah, I
now
still
you're
haven't played it.
taking the time off for it. But we can get into that later.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, man. How you been though? How's your week been?
I've been good. It's been a busy week. Been playing through a few games. I'm like this close to finally finishing out Baldur's Gate. I've been slow rolling everything. Lots of things going on with the engagement. Some other things that Lady Friend and I have had to do over the past week or two, and just kind of slow rolling that stuff. But looking to finish out Baldur's Gate here this week. Sea of Stars and a couple other things, just to kind of refresh that palette for everything that we have coming up.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So yeah, let's actually talk about what we actually been playing this week, and kick it to you talking about some Baldur's Gate 3. Did you get a lot more playing time in? Are you driving the story home, or like what's going on?
I did. We are getting ready to put this baby to bed, as it were. I couldn't be happier with my playthrough. I've had some struggles with some things I did. Like I had said way back when I started with the Dark Urge, um, and that kind of introduced some struggles into my gameplay, some kind of forced ethical choices I've had to make. Uh, but on the back end of it, it has made it much more interesting
Yeah,
um, for for my character and kind of what I'm doing towards the end of the game. But it's been really fun. Once again, I'm having so much fun with this game. In my solo campaign, the campaign that I played with my friends. I mean, it's just a winner through and through. And like even after this, if I do just another solo campaign again, it's the possibilities really are endless with Baldur's Gate. It has been that just fantastic for me.
yeah, definitely. That's pretty dope to hear. I'm still on the edge of like whether I want to check it out or not because I'm not sure if it's a game for me. I do know it's a game that's going to take a lot of time out, and I just don't have the time to invest into it because there are just so many other games out that I'm really want to play at the moment. And speaking about one of them is Liza P. I'm trying to truck through that as much as I can. I'm like a little over halfway done with the game, but we're going to be talking about it here this Friday on for Shoot the Wins Game Club. We're getting together this Friday to talk about it on our Twitter space, and it's just like, man, I hope I can contribute a decent amount to talk about. I mean, halfway through the game, I have a lot to say about it, but overall,
Yeah,
it's been
you'll
a
have a lot to contribute, I think, with how much you've gone through for it so far.
yeah, for sure. I mean, overall, it's been a really enjoyable game. I really don't like Souls-like games like at all, but like this one has been fun. I've always had the itch of like, man, I really want to go home and play it, or I'm watching YouTube videos on how to maybe play the game a little bit better than what I actually have been playing, trying to figure out different builds that actually fit my playstyle, and I think I have it down like to a T. But yeah, nonetheless, Eliza P, a lot of fun. Highly recommend checking it out. It's a definitely a surprise this year. But let's talk about you've been playing some Warzone 2. Obviously, the Haunting event is out. Have you been enjoying this event? Is this kind of like what Verdansk was all them years ago, or like how's this event compared to it?
It's definitely not the haunting of Verdansk. When they originated that. But it is fun. They have a lot going on right now in Al Mazrah. I think my biggest gripe with it is there's no way to just play solos like like a late night. I just kind of want to do my thing and just play the game by myself. That hasn't been there, but I've played with a few friends here and there. We've had a pretty good time. They have a lot of content in the map this time, and it's I would say it was interesting, but not at all surprising that they brought in some Diablo gameplay as well. So like actually just I want to say maybe about an hour ago, I activated an altar of Lilith in Almazra. So they got a bunch of that stuff going on. It's really interesting. It's really fun to play. They give you about like 7 or 8 bosses to end up fighting, like bosses, or if you want to call them kind of like quests in game, while you're playing the battle royale aspect of it. And then, of course, with that, you also have your your monetary system that you get for this event, the Souls collections. So at the end of every game, like whatever souls you currently have, you leave with, which is I think is really really nice. Um, to still give you that bank of souls, even though you might not have one, or like in my case, like if I'm playing solos and the only choices are duos or trios, obviously I'm not gonna be leaving with that on a helicopter. But it's really really fun to play. This stuff always gets me. I'm a sucker for that. Just kind of Halloween-esque thing that they can do. Make it a little scary, make it a little bit of weird. Like I'll come in here, I'll turn the lights off, and I'll just hop in. I'm like, ooh, scary, like that
Yeah.
kind of shit. But it's super fun. Those events always are. Just like with Christmas when they did the Krampus and everything like that. Like that stuff's just fun to me. So regardless of how I feel about the landscape of Call of Duty and going forward and some of the things that they've been working on or doing, um, it's still just fun to get in there and play and see what you get the Swamp Thing coming out.
Right.
You've got the Ghost Train. You've got so much stuff. You got the Butcher from Diablo.
Hmm.
But it's been fun as far as I'm concerned. It's been a hit.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the crossovers with the whole Diablo game, and it looked pretty cool because like you go into like that other world, like you go through like a portal and shit like that. I did see like where you can fight the UFOs as well, and there's
Yep.
that Easter egg, and you can shoot it down, and then it shows that little alien creature, and it kind of looks like the one that when Mexico revealed the aliens to us a couple weeks back. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and the UFO is one of those other like little like kind of like mini bosses in map that they have. So it like drives you to go do that, and it drives you to interact with uh, the environment at that point because they have all this stuff going on, and then you have the UFO, you have like it's the altar of Lilith, like all that. It drives you to interact with the environment and see what's kind of going on, not just within your own POV, but the entirety of like Almazra. So like the UFO has been fun as well. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I heard a lot of negative remarks around it. The fact that like you are playing a lot of this like events and you have to play with against 100 150 people, and like there's a lot of people that are just out there to hunt you while you're trying to work on these things, so you're never really going to be able to enjoy the experience at all. Where like they were like maybe there should have added like a plunder mode where with the Verdansk you had the plunder mode where everyone's kind of working together, like you're more spread out, like you're not really going to attack each other, you're not really worried about it. There's no like here comes the gas guys, like you actually get to enjoy the event. Or even DMZ, like why didn't they throw this into DMZ is the question mark.
So I agree because having been sniped from an event that I was doing and sniped somebody doing an event that they were doing, like I get it. Um, I think it just adds that extra pressure that you really need. As far as then, this is just my opinion. I think it adds that extra pressure because if you're just going around like if you're in a plunder mode and you're just doing these things, like yeah, they're fun, but you don't have that air or like that sense of dread that you would knowing other people could be like not only are you dealing with the thing like not only are you dealing with what you're dealing with now, but you have to think about the possibility of others being just outside that, waiting for you to either be done or be low, like things like that. It just adds that extra sense of like dread. Like I don't feel dread from the swamp monster. I don't feel dread from doing the altar of Lilith or the ghost train, but I do feel dread and like a little bit of fear when it's like I could be doing these things and somebody else could come out and just nab me, be done, and call it. So I think being on the receiving end of like that pressure and the things you have to think about in the situational awareness that you have to bring to the table, I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Now, if there's somebody, if there's people that don't like that and just want to be able to do this, maybe like kind of an achievements off version of it,
Hmm.
because I don't think it would be fair to the people that are playing the battle royale while doing these things for everybody to get the achievements. Um, but that's fine if you just want to sit there and do the event and things like that. I mean, that's not a bad thing. There's plenty of people like myself who, on the other side of that coin, also like just doing the things that are there to be done. Um, but as far as backlash for it, I mean, it's how it's been. It never hasn't been this. So for people that are upsetty spaghetti about it, I mean, is it your first time? Like,
No, yeah, but it just seems like like Call of Duty just doesn't listen. Like they keep trying to do these events in the middle of a war zone, and it just doesn't make sense because then like most of the community doesn't get to experience the true event because every time they try to do the event, they get wiped out or and it just gets frustrating because I know if I would do it and I got towards the end of the event and I got annihilated by some random team, I wouldn't even want to play the game anymore. I would just be like, "Yep, that's it. I'm done." Like I don't want to play it. Like there's no
they've
fun to
they've
that.
made the individual events relatively quick. Like the individual things that you got
Well,
to
I've
do. You
seen
got
the
to
one
kill
where
the
you
swamp,
have
you
to open
kill the
up the
butcher.
portal and
Like
like there's like the 5 star on the portal or whatever that you have to unlock and like
that's the
another
altar of Lilith.
yeah and apparently like teams could just sit there and watch you do it and then as soon as you open the portal come annihilate you and then the portal's already open for them to do it like that's just weird to me.
No, I agree. I agree. That's like one of the worst, the like non good aspects of it.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like if you just knew that if you could be there and activate a portal and that's it, like it's not as it's not as intense. It's not as gratifying if you do get it.
I mean if they just crank up the AI
I
and
so
actually make the AI a little bit more
hmm.
like difficult to handle then you wouldn't have to worry about the real life person. But let's move on here. Talking about some other games that I've played this week. I did dive into Sea of Stars. I think I played another hour or two. It's just a nice game that I can pick up and play. I love that story. I wish I could play it more, but because of excuse me, time restrictions and also trying to get through Lies of P, it's been hard to play other games. Even though I do have 3 other games here on my list, but I only played them for like less than an hour each. With Forza Horizon 5 and Forza Motorsport, I just hopped in and played like a couple of races, and that was about it. And then, interesting enough, Battlefield 2042 is on my list again. But I was really just testing out like how it runs with cloud gaming at work, and I don't really have the best connection at work in general, so it didn't run that great there. So I'm wondering like if I actually had a stable connection and was playing it, would I have any issues? Probably not. So,
So probably not. I'm thinking with where you work, like that's a very throttled network,
hmm,
versus like at home or anywhere where it's not as throttled. I mean, was it so you said it was kind of meh? Was it at least playable or not playable at
no,
all? Not playable at
yeah,
all.
the lag and the latency it was horrendous, and it didn't look the best
Mhm.
either. Like it was just a bad overall experience. I played shooters in a decent environment. And it works. Like cloud gaming works, but like inside my store is bad for 5G. Like it just doesn't work. Like I'm right next to a Verizon store, funny enough, and I just have the worst connection. Like shit doesn't load. Even if I'm on other sites, like say YouTube, it'll say like this can't load right now or whatever, and I'm just like,
Were you on like yeah, like and that's where there's a lot of factors come in. Where like were you on a specific Wi-Fi? Were you on the work Wi-Fi? Were you coming straight from cellular? Yeah, straight from cellular. Yeah. Well, and especially if yeah. Oh, the 5G ultra wideband is a fucking lie. It's a fucking lie. I've been yeah, the UW. No, I'm almost the opposite because when I have the 5G ultra wideband and I got the markings and everything like that, if I have anything less than like 3 bars, it just you might as well put me back on one of the original iPhones on 3G. The same fucking speed. I'm just trying to go through some of the quests that I have here. They have the harvest event going on, so a lot of ghost theme Pokemon events going on there, which is nice because that actually helps me fill out some of the things that I missed when I was taking my very long hiatus playing Pokemon Go. And it's like, oh, catch 40 ghost type Pokemon, and that was forever ago. And I've just been like, yeah, I'll catch one here or there, but nothing's really happened. And then all of a sudden this event hit, and now I'm just everything's a ghost Pokemon. I'm having a great time. It's amazing. I'm nailing all of it. And as always, this is just it's a good just a good travel game to just play, keep yourself occupied, like do that here and there. I mean, it's been fun as always. Yeah. So as we've been saying, oh, yeah, absolutely. So as we've been saying, October is a huge month for gaming this year. We're gonna start our list off here with Cities Skyline 2s. That's coming out on PC October 24th. Also coming out October 24th is just gonna be Just Dance 2024. That's coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and the Switch. Uh, Coming out on October 24th as well is going to be Metal Gear Solid: The Master Collection Volume 1. That is PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. After that, we've got Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria coming out for PlayStation 5 and PC on October 24th. And then on October 26th, we have Battle Cakes coming out for PC and Dave the Driver coming out for the Switch on October 26th. And then also on October 26th, we have Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord coming out for PlayStation VR2 and the Quest. Ghost Runner 2 is also going to be making a debut on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 26th. And then to round out our October 26th day, we've got Mineko's Night Market coming out for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Now, some of the heavy hitters we have here: Alan Wake 2 will be coming out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 24th. And we have EA Sports UFC 5 coming out for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S on October 27th. Whoops. So, no, it's going to be Alan Wake 2 on the 27th. But the Lord of the Rings is a very, very close second. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, we really have seen the way that a lot of people have just shifted their thought processes, the way they've been working it, either fighting it all the way up to the time things get approved and then just backtracking, but watering down the competition regulator. That's a new one. That's a new one for me.
Yeah. We don't see that
So
too often.
yeah, so to see that, you're just kind of like, this should be interesting.
Yeah. But other news outside of the CMA here at stateside.
Yeah, over here in the good old US of A, the government has actually blocked shipments of NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPUs from being sent to China. Um, Not entirely surprising, but still at the same time makes you go, hmm. Whether or not it's because of issues with the microchips that everybody's been fighting over, or in the same vein of like Huawei electronics that have been sent over here. Um, it makes you just kind of be like, okay, so no more 4090s from China. Why?
Well, they're not from China. It's going to China.
Yeah.
Like we're no longer shipping them to China,
Wow.
which is pretty
I read that
interesting.
entirely wrong. Read that entirely
From
wrong.
Yep. And I'm just guessing because of like the power of these, because like it'll be the best GPUs on the market. So like maybe they were using them for something else entirely that we just don't know about. But it says that it has something to do with like how powerful they are. Maybe it's because like the power it needs to run. If like most of China's population decides to get one of these cards, obviously they're overpopulated. They're already using too much energy and they're already polluting. Maybe that's part of the cause here.
That could be part of it if you're worried about the actual like energy infrastructure of China. I mean, I don't think we would stop it for that. But if they're being used for any nefarious reasons, such as maybe like when you were mining for any of your Bitcoin or any of your crypto, that could be a business that was largely taken in part of in China that you don't want to give a 4090 to.
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk about something really interesting here from the Las Vegas sphere that it's kind of taken over the internet by storm. And basically, Xbox and PlayStation have now paid to use this. I called it a glorified billboard, in the shape of a sphere. But it is pretty fucking cool. I'm gonna get it pulled up here on screen on how each of them both use this. So let's get this brought up here on screen. This is first off how Xbox used it. They were basically like showcasing just different games. Obviously, the Xbox logo. They were showcasing like Starfield and Hellblade 2 and Forza. But the interesting one was the showcasing of like Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk isn't owned by Xbox. So like there's a question of like, is CD Projekt Red like maybe the next on the list that Xbox wants to acquire, or is there a partnership deal coming through here soon? We may not know. But they also showcase like what the consoles look like, and everyone was like, "Oh, look what Xbox has to do to market their stuff because they're not as good as PlayStation." Well, funny thing is, next day later, PlayStation also uses the same sphere to advertise Spider-Man and their consoles as well. Let's mute that so we don't get hit with no charges. But basically, it's just like an entire like trailer showcasing the Spider-Man, which it looks fucking dope on this sphere. Um, but I just thought it was really funny how they were coming at Xbox for using it, and not even a day later, PlayStation is doing the same exact thing.
Oh well, naturally, because they were just mad that Xbox got to it first, and I think of what we've seen, my favorite has been so far the Xbox symbol, because when it first came out, that was really like the biggest like fun you had on the controller was that big, just like little dome piece right there.
Right, on the
Just the
360
X,
controller,
just
it
the
was a
big
fucking
X on the 360. Like that was fun, and they
yeah.
like they
Now it's
finally brought
flat.
it to life. Yeah, yeah, they finally brought it to life. And then for anybody else, I did take the flannel off because the Steelers did win, so we're okay there. But the Vegas Sphere is so interesting. I don't know if you've been watching any of the TikToks from it or anything like that. Like
Yeah,
inside, it's just man, that's amazing. And for something to be used inside for concerts, like visual effects, things like that, and then outside for advertisements. PlayStation bitching about Xbox, even though they did it as well. That kind of thing that PlayStation likes to do.
Yeah,
It,
typical.
it yeah, it's an awesome thing to see.
Yeah. So enough of the industry news. It was a pretty short and quiet week in regards to the industry news, but yeah, man, let's go ahead and move on and talk about the gaming news we had this week. So we're gonna kick it off here with Xbox related news, and this is just strictly news at this point. But Pete Hines, the SVP and the head of publishing for Bethesda, has announced that he is retiring after being with the company for more than 24 years. He said he's just looking to do obviously like more family time and is working on like more like personal projects and just things that he wants to enjoy and have fun. Obviously, Pete is a long time in the gaming industry, so well deserved here to finally retire and be able to enjoy the rest of his life just chilling and doing what he wants. So, congratulations there to Pete Hines on the retirement. But on the other side here, Phil Spencer was appeared on the official Xbox podcast here and kind of confirmed some details from the Activision Blizzard deal already. They kind of wanted to get ahead of it and just be like, hey, this is kind of the game plan with it and kind of what's going on. He did confirm that no Activision Blizzard King games will be coming to Game Pass until at least 2024, and he kind of explained the reason why, and it had something to do with like the deal was kind of uncertain that it was even going to happen up until like the day or two before it actually they closed on it, obviously due to the CMA. And then he was like, it's a little bit of a process. It's not like a switch they just turn like, oh, it's coming to Game Pass tomorrow, boom. No, there's some back behind the scenes work that needs to happen to bring these games to the service. So that's why we won't see them initially. Where like when Bethesda was acquired by them, as soon as they closed that deal, that next day they added like their entire catalog to Game Pass. But there was no CMA, there was no regulators really diving deep into that acquisition the way that they did with the Activision King one. So there's that. He did confirm in regards to Call of Duty though that the goal is 100% parity. There will be no exclusive skins or DLC, kind of how PlayStation does it now. Like they'll have a whole game mode for an entire year before Xbox can get it. But the life cycle of Call of Duty is a year. So by the time Xbox get it, no one's even playing the shit anyway. So no more of that. And they also said there is no goal to use Call of Duty to get you to buy an Xbox because you're going to be able to play it on any platform. So they're not going to be able to like, hey, come to Xbox because it's the only place to play Call of Duty. But the caveat, the selling point is it's going to be coming to Game Pass. You don't have to pay $70 every year for a new Call of Duty if all you do is subscribe to Game Pass. Because Game Pass just pays for itself after you play like one game. You know.
It really does. It really does. But I think like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're not telling you that the only really way to play Call of Duty is get an Xbox. But if you want to save all of your money and still play the newest Call of Duties, and if you want some of the DLC or maybe some of the Game Pass exclusives, maybe get an Xbox.
Yeah. Or just
It's
hop on the
just a nice little
PC,
sweet
or
push.
there's like so many ways to access Game Pass now, which is just like it's great. You want to play mobile, you want to play on the Rogue Ally, you want to play on the Steam Deck, you want to play on your PC. You can play anywhere. You want to play on your Samsung TV, you don't even need anything. You just download the ad to play the game. It's fucking dope.
Netflix.
Yeah, at this point. And the last thing here is that he was talking about some of the older IPs that Activision Blizzard owns, and he just doesn't want to like revive these IPs and have the older developers work on these games because they may not be inspired. They may not be that may not be what they want to work on anymore. They want to be able to open the catalog of IPs and give them out to people who are going to be passionate about these projects so it's not just like a money grab. And I was just like, that's pretty genuine and shows that someone actually cares about this kind of stuff because they can easily be like, oh, you made Spyro before? You're going to make the new Spyro. And the guys are probably like, we're past that. We want to make something new.
Well, and it also brings in that new, fresh crop of individuals who, some of the older IPs might have inspired, and it gives them a chance to work on something that has actually like inspired them, like fans that will take care of storylines, like the graphics, say for example, Spyro. Obviously, if who doesn't love Spyro, but maybe Spyro is what got some people into making video games, and then
Right.
now just not saying they're like picking, oh, this guy likes Sky like Spyro, but like there's a little bit of a like throw shit at a wall and see what sticks, where it's like, hey, you guys are now going to be making the new Spyro, and maybe one or two or three people in there were like, that's the whole reason I got into video games.
Right.
It brings that new passion, and I think he's right on the mark with that.
Yeah. So that's all something to hear. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the games from Xbox that are already out with some new updates, new DLC that is coming out. First off with Minecraft Con or Live or whatever they do a yearly event. Just happened the other weekend. With it, they announced a couple surprises here that were big. Is they crossed over 300 million copies have been sold of Minecraft, making it. I mean, it's one of the largest, biggest games ever sold. I think it's number two
That's
behind like Tetris
massive.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also it says to celebrate 15 years of Minecraft, which is mind blowing that Minecraft has been out for 15 years. It just that's like half my life. It says more surprises and reveals are coming later on this year. So that's pretty cool there because they also showcase like some of the updates from Minecraft that I dropped way down here in its own separate thing for some reason. Snapshot 1.21 is available for you to play and check out. It's kind of like their game preview stage of like upcoming updates, which was pretty awesome. And with that, some new things where you get to test a new redstone powered crafter, which is pretty cool because it like kind of automates the process. Like you put stuff in a hopper or a chest and it pulls it out, puts it into like an automated crafting table and it builds it for you and then it puts it into a chest next to you so you don't have to like manually do all of that. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool because then like you could set it up where like if I smelt cobblestone into regular stone and then it goes to the chest and it goes to the auto crafter, it can make like different bricks all without me having to be there and do that manually. That's going to save a shit ton of time if you're playing survival and you're building those nice survival worlds. But with Snapshot 1.21, there's new things coming like trial chambers, trial spawners, and a new mob called Breeze. And then the full release of this update will come sometime next year, around like middle of 2024. So be on the lookout for that. Game that is popping though right now is Halo Infinite. I mean the numbers are off the charts. It seems like Halo has returned, like Halo is back. This is where the game should have been at launch, because it's getting a constant flow of updates. But with the community here with Forge and the new updates to Forge, people are just making all kind of crazy things. But first thing, Firefight is coming with season 5, and bringing it is matchmaking in 9 maps, with more to come later on. But one thing I did want to highlight, because Scott, I know you're a huge fan of Pokemon. I have not played Pokemon in such a long time, but someone basically recreated a Pokemon battle arena within Halo. So I'm gonna get it pulled up here on screen, and it's pretty cool. Basically, you walk up, you choose your Pokemon, your enemy, and you throw like a basically a Pokeball in the arena, and he spawns out of there, and then he goes to the other side and does the same thing, and then you can hit like start or whatever, and then like they'll fight to the death, and it's pretty fucking dope if you ask me. Have you seen this video at all before the before the?
I actually have it. This is new to me. This is the equivalent of that Trump video where it's like you hear like Elton John in the background. And it's like, wow, no, I haven't heard that. You're telling me just now for the first time. Wow, but it is amazing. This is actually fucking fantastic. This is just another example of what people can do, like
Given
given
the
some time,
resources.
create yeah, given the resources, given some creative effort, where like the company behind the game doesn't actually fucking hate you. It's really
Yeah.
really nice to see that. It is super fun. It looks super cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's going to be first of many things that we see from this new recent Forge update as well. But let's talk about a game that got a surprise upcoming DLC, because Age of Empires 2 is getting the definitive edition is getting a DLC, and this is called the Mountain Royals DLC, and it's coming out later this month on October 31st. Uh, excuse me. Comes with it is 2 new civilizations. You get the Gregorians and Armenians, and on top of that, you get 3 new fully voiced campaigns: Tamar, Thoros the Great, and Ismail. And on top of that, you get newly updated Persian civilization. So it's crazy to see that Age of Empires 2 is just getting the quality of life, the new updates, the new content just flowing left and right. And on top of that, like there's Age of Empires 4 out already. So it's like, why are they going back to this game? Is the big question that I would have. But moving on here to the next game here is Call of Duty. This was just a fun fact that I happened to stumble upon on Twitter due to an article, and this was about the secret deal that Activision Blizzard did make with Remington. They signed a deal to bring the gun known as the ACR to the games and hope that it would create more sales in real life. And I was like, man, that is really fucking interesting that they tried and they actually didn't see a return on investment on this. Like they actually didn't really see that many sales, but it's really surprising because the ACR was the most popular gun in Call of Duty in those early time frames. If you were playing Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, like you had to play with the ACR. It was the greatest gun to ever grace that game, for sure. But to round out the games section of Xbox is Diablo 4. Season 2 has been delayed by a few hours, so unfortunately you do won't be able to play that right away. But let's move on here to the Xbox services category. We do have Game Pass additions. A couple of these are already out now, like a Dragon Ishin came to cloud, console, and PC already. F1 Manager 2023 also came to cloud, console, and PC. But we were just talking about City Skylines and our upcoming game releases. Forgot to talk about it is coming to Game Pass day one on PC on the 24th. Also, kind of makes me a little bit sad because I spent $70 on this game. But Dead Space Remake is also coming to Game Pass, Cloud, PC, and Series X and S on October 26th, along with Fraud Detective: The Entire Mystery coming to Cloud and console. And then another one that we just talked about on the game releases category, Mineko's Night Market, Cloud, console, and PC coming out on 26th. That's another Game Pass day one release. But on the 31st, we got two games: Headbangers Rhythm Royale coming to cloud, console, and PC, along with the indie game known as Jusant, which we've seen at the Xbox showcase this past summer. And this is an indie game that looks pretty cool. Like it's a lot of traversal, a lot of parkour, some puzzles going on, and I'm actually looking forward to playing this. I'm probably going to play this by the end of the year. I'm sure it'll be a quick game to dive into. But that was a lot of rambling on about Xbox news. Scott, let's talk about PlayStation because I'm ready to rumble.
We'll hit PlayStation for about 2 seconds, but I want to go back to the reason that Remington didn't get the ACR sales that they wanted. You just said you spent $70 on a Dead Space remake. Everyone is spending $70 every year on a Call of Duty. You picked the worst market because all of that money that they could have bought your gun with is going to Call of Duty. My apologies for having to step away there for a second. And let's go on to the PlayStation news. So Spider-Man 2 has gotten kind of a lot of mixed reviews, mainly some of the negative here. It's been very, very buggy on its release. When people have been playing, there has been some just wildness going on. Another thing is people have been kind of hyping up the fast travel speeds, but there's other games like you already know for Forza Horizon 5 and games from the PS2 that load just as quickly, but you also don't have to hold a button the entire time.
Right. Yeah, it made me flabbergasted. They were like, "Oh
Like
man, look how fast
it's
these load times are!" But like, you gotta hold the button, watch the bar go across the screen, and then like it takes you there. It's like, if you could
but
literally
they're
just fast
not
travel that fast,
fast.
you should be able to just click on it and just put you there. Like, it should just be that
They're
quick.
yeah, they're not that fast. So it kind of makes you a little skeptical about the game. But there's other games that do it just as fast, like Crew Motorfest. When you start looking into things like the fast travel, having to hold the button, like these are just. I thought we were past this,
Yeah.
honestly. I thought we were past this. I mean, even way early as back as 2011, you could just click somewhere, hit fast travel, and game would load. It'd take about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and you were good. Now it's still taking the same time, if not longer. You have to hold the button the entire time, or else it cancels it.
I mean, don't
Just
get me
kind
wrong.
of
It
weird.
is it is fast. Like it's on par with Forza Horizon 5, which like loads in a blink. But it's just like you're touting something to load like the fact like it's the grace of God. And some people are comparing it to Apple because like I'm an Apple fanboy, I get it. But the Apple does the same thing. They're like, oh look at this new feature, but it's like a new feature for iPhone, but like Android had it for like 10 years. and they're just like, "Oh, it's so great! It's such a new feature," and it's like, no,
Never
it's
forget.
it's definitely not a new feature. It's been done before.
Yeah, no, it's the proverbial new to you is
Yeah.
what a lot of people call that. It's new to you, like yeah, for sure. But coming off of that, like the new game and the mission replay that people have been really, really looking forward to, that's going to be coming later this year. But now getting into a little bit of stats here is so the physical copy owner's installation uh, stops at 36% for some reason.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that come
Why
across
is
my
that?
Twitter, I was like, I don't know what's causing it, but I was just like, maybe they're trying to push digital sales. They're like, you can return that physical copy and buy that digital one, right?
That's that's my great conspiracy there is because they why would a physical install stop at 36%? No
Yeah.
reason unless there's some weird checksum that didn't go through. Uh kind of odd. But so another thing that people have been complaining about is that this takes about 8 to 15 hours to beat. And that's about the same as Miles Morales. But if you start looking at the first Spider-Man, that was about 17 to 25 hours.
Yeah.
So
These are some,
yeah,
like a lot of the stuff that's on the itinerary were a lot of issues that I had with the game, and I haven't played the game. I'm just gonna put that out front. But like looking at it from this point, it's like you're trying to sell me this brand new big game, but it's really like a DLC, like an update to the game, because it's on the same
yeah,
map.
like
Like it's not really any bigger. It's a little bit more detailed. I guess you can fast travel a little bit quicker. You have an extra player to play as. Like Venom's in the game now. That's cool. It sounds like an update. That's really what you did.
which does so the Venom edition does lead into some other things that could be coming later on.
Could be
But it's just weird that you would sell this as a whole new game and
$70
only
game.
really have about yeah, $70 game. That's why you're not. That's why you're not getting your ACR sales. Uh,
And you have half the content. Like Miles Morales was
yeah,
even sold at a cheaper price. It wasn't a $70 game, but now you're selling me Spider-Man 2 and you're selling it at a $70 game. Like that's just
and
shady.
you're only getting 8 to 15 hours of game time.
Yeah, unless you're
Now,
terrible at video games, because apparently I heard it can take you like 25 hours to beat the game, and I was just like, yeah, you must not play video games that often, because everyone else is beating it with it. And the thing is, I heard there's like 7 hours of cutscenes in the game too. So this game really isn't that long to beat.
disgusting. It's weird. It's weird that they would sell a $70 game for that. I mean, that's just. It's like actual 3 hours of gameplay. Like who actually
It's
knows?
brutal, man.
Like that's rough. But that just. I mean, we've talked about this a lot on this show. Like that's the state of
PlayStation right
what
now.
games have become. Like the PlayStation in general, like has been the biggest culprit of this. But like, man, games have just been selling. They've charging you more for less. That's all it's been.
Right. And
Not only mention, not only that,
I was
you
gonna
have
say real quick, because you were talking about like you're paying more for less. It's like, yeah, we see it. We see it like night and day. Like the fact that the game doesn't come with a new game plus or mission replay yet, and it's coming later this year. But they were touting on Twitter like there's 78 suits, and I'm like, well, you could have just worked on one suit and gave me new game plus and replay mission that people actually care about, and then added those suits later as maybe even cosmetics. Fuck, that would have been the perfect time to have a little fucking cash shop in your game, even though no one wants those in a single player game. You can have those or
yeah,
have different rewards or challenges you do weekly or monthly to get people to come back and play your game. Look what Forza does. I
hey,
literally
yeah,
I still play Forza Horizon 5. Why? Because of the seasonal changes. You get a chance to get a new car added to your collection by completing challenges. Do that with Spider-Man, I get a
yeah,
new suit.
exactly, exactly. What do you think, Kalani? Outstanding.
Yeah, she's
That was
frustrated.
amazing. Honestly, really hot take on that. No, it's just ridiculous. 78 new suits that you can wear, do all that good stuff, but you gonna change the suit every 10 minutes while you're playing the game because
Right.
that's the only way you're gonna get all of the suits worn and beat this game. Not only that, you have invisible walls preventing you from accessing areas. I thought we were done with this
Yeah.
from like ATV4 back on the original PlayStation. Nah.
Yeah, and it's
And
really
then
weird because they were
this
making fun
one,
of like Starfield, right? Starfield, like, cause you can go to anywhere on the planet, but like you got to a point where you were hit by an invisible wall and it's saying if you want to access that point, you have to hop back in your ship and go land at the other landing spot, and it's kind of what's happening here, like in Spider-Man. Oh, you want to access that point? Well, you gotta like you gotta fast travel to a
Yeah,
point over
well,
there. It's like
get your ass
that's
over to an
weird.
elevator, go up, like go up the Empire State Building, and then you'll get there. Then you can travel over here. That
Which
get
that
out of
actually
here.
was blowing
You,
my mind too. I've seen people that they were going on the highest point of the map, and then they use their webs to like slingshot them. But I'm like, where are you attaching those webs to? Because there's nothing that you're shooting those webs that direction up there, and you're just pulling, and it's just like, okay.
that is the suspension of disbelief, and that has been there since Spider-Man like first came out on the PlayStation. I mean, that's been there. You're just like, yep, I'm gonna swing on what? Don't ask
I
that.
don't ask that. Yeah.
And don't ask that. Don't ask that. Is I'm just swinging. You have to believe that I'm swinging. I'm swinging. But coming out, if you want to pull that tweet up, Vic,
Hmm.
so it does have the Cuban flag in the game instead of the Puerto Rican flag.
Yeah.
So that seems to be a pretty big
Fuck up.
hot topic there that people have been talking about.
Because don't get me wrong, it's a similar flag. The colors are just reversed around the flag, and like I got this from Danny Pena here on Twitter, and he's a I think he's Puerto Rican. I know he's Hispanic, and he's just like it's a bit odd that they used the wrong flag, because like it's supposed to be the Puerto Rican flag, but it's like someone who created this asset just completely fucked that up. And on top of that, like there's a suit, one of the 78 suits that you can get. There's a Puerto Rican flag suit that you can wear, but you know they're just gonna add the Cuban flag into the game by accident. Yeah, somebody fucked up.
Yeah, what a great Monday somebody's gonna have after this came out. But moving on to the services for PlayStation, this is going to be a rapid fire for the additions, the premium classics, and the departures. Going through the PlayStation Plus additions, this is going to be out now. We have Gotham Knights, Disco Elysium: The Final Cut, the Dark Pictures Anthology: House of Ashes, Alien Isolation: Dead Island Definitive Edition, Outlast 2, Elite Dangerous, Far: The Changing Tides, Gungrave Gore, Eldest Soul, and Roki. Coming for PlayStation Premium Classics, which are also out now, we have Tekken 6, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, Ape Escape Academy, and IQ Final. And then leaving PlayStation Plus on November 21st are going to be Ace of Seafood, Connect Tank, Dandara Trials of Fear Edition, Guyana Sisters Twisted Dreams Director's Cut, Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight, My Time at Portia, and Wild Guns Reloaded.
It seems like a pretty solid month if you're big into like horror and those like crazy kind of games, because PlayStation's getting a whole slew of those kind.
And it does make sense because when you come into like times
Yeah.
like this where it's like, you got the October, early November deadline, shout out to the early November. You have that, like it's gonna be a big time for games like this to come out free. People can get spooked
Yeah.
all they want and then back off. But moving away from PlayStation and heading into Nintendo, we have a little bit of news here. So, the Nintendo of America president, Doug Bowser, has confirmed that the Switch 2 will support backwards compatibility and is all but confirmed to release in 2024. That's a great bit of information there. The
Hmm.
backwards compatibility has always been a hot topic for the gaming community when you start moving into next gen, and it's really really nice to see that they have confirmed that it's going to be a really nice smooth transition. I can't wait to see what the Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo has to offer. Away from that, we have for games Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So this is already playable at 40K, 60 frames per second via the Nintendo Switch emulator, and it's been reviewing really, really well, except for one thing: the new Mario voice. I know we talked back when he had left, um, but there's a new voice for Mario who is also the actual voice for Luigi as well, Kevin Afghani.
Hmm.
And people have been kind of, I wouldn't say reporting is the right word to use, but people have been saying that, the voice is kind of off. Um, and they weren't exactly sure what was going on with there. Uh, but it is because he does have a new voice actor. So we had covered that the original voice actor for Mario had left and was going to be the Mario ambassador. We weren't sure what exactly was going to happen with that. I remember specifically making a joke about him not owning his voice, and we already have about 52,000 wahoos going on. Um, but so they did. It looks like they did get a new voice actor for that, and it's just been kind of throwing people off a little bit. Not enough to ruin the game or make people not want to have it and play it, but still off enough for people to notice.
I mean, we've been so used to the same Mario voice for such a long time, but I mean, overall, this game actually has me excited because just a new 2D experience from Mario, which we haven't had in such a long time, and it's reviewing really well. I mean, on average, it's like a 9 out of 10 so far. So it's just like, man, it seems like a pretty good game, and I haven't bought a new Switch game in quite some time. Definitely been a while, so maybe it'd be
Yeah,
time to
I
dig
don't,
out the Switch again and dust it off a little bit.
you won't do it.
Yeah, probably not. I got too many other games I'm playing on Xbox and PC. Oh man,
I'm
but
gonna add that to the backlog.
yeah, and this check mark next. But moving on here, there was an announcement from the Analog Company, which we talked about, like their Game Boy one, the translucent one that we saw a few weeks back. They did announce the new Analog 3D. It's supposed to be the modern take on the N64, and I was like, ooh, like my boy Inhuman, who comes on the show all the time, he sent this to me in my DMs, and I was like, bro, like I might have to grab this. Like I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
it's
I'm bringing up the website here. It doesn't really show much. It kind of like they're just trying to like hide it like in shadows. But it says the future is here. 64 bits of pleasure. Wireless Bluetooth 2.4 gigahertz or gigs. Four original style controller ports, completely engineered for the FPGA analog OS. There's no emulation involved here. It supports 4K resolution, original display modes. The first and only aftermarket solution supporting 100% compatibility in every region coming next year. The controller, I mean, I wonder if it has the traditional like shape of the N64. We can't really tell by this.
I
Um,
feel like that would be the only way to keep it nostalgic though.
yeah,
If they've improved on everything else, you gotta keep the controller as just complicated as possible for this, or else it's not gonna be the N64 experience.
right. It's gonna feel a little bit off, but yeah, that is the end of the web page. So I mean, hopefully we get some new showcases, maybe a trailer or something. But they said it's coming out next year, so maybe we won't see something until early next year from them. But let's go ahead and talk about a game that's been around for a while, the king of battle royale.
Yeah, the OG PUBG. That's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds for anybody who is too young to know what that is or just never played it. This is the original battle royale. This is where everyone else has gotten it from. Whether you're a Fortnite player, you're a Warzone player, anything like that, this has all come from PUBG. So it's nice to see a little bit of news come out of there, and some of that news included a new teaser. So for anybody who's still playing that, good on you. I mean, honestly, but it comes with a new mode where you can craft, you can work together to survive. It looks honestly, I've been looking to get back into PUBG for a while just because it was so fun and it was really what got me back into like kind of the first person shooter genre or the third person if you want to go that far into it. Um, but just seeing the one that really kind of started it all come out with something new, something fun, fresh. It's refreshing. It's fun to see, and good on them for still sticking with it. Truth be told, I thought they were beat a long time ago when Apex, Fortnite, Warzone. I was like, man, nobody's gonna be playing PUBG anymore unless you're a real sweat. Um, but it's good to see them come back with a little bit of newness and go from there. You get that work together mode, which is super super nice.
I mean, it's still
Uh,
one of the
yeah,
biggest games, period.
and dude, I don't know. That was
The
that was my
last,
assumption.
yeah, the
That
last
was my
30 days, I
assumption
had
with it.
186,000 concurrent players, I mean, that's more than like Fortnite. It's more than Apex.
Well,
It's more
that
than
explains why I've wanted to come back and play it
like
because I was
PUBG
just
has
like,
just
man,
never teetered. Like it's always been great.
good.
Obviously, it's not reaching its 3 million all-time peak high concurrent users, but like it still
Good,
plays.
and that proves the arrogance, the ignorance that I had earlier, where it was like I just thought that this game was done. When you have things like, the same mode, but you have Call of Duty behind it, or you
Hmm.
have Epic Games behind it,
Yeah,
like things like that. And I was just like, man, that sucks for PUBG. Sorry, like I'm gonna go ahead and go play these ones,
right.
but like,
Some people still enjoy that simplicity of PUBG. Like there's not a lot of movement you have to learn. Like yeah, rotation is different than true movement, but like it's a very basic shooter. Like it's a realistic shooter too. It's not like I gotta put an entire clip into somebody. Oh, like oh they played it up or whatever. It's you hit them with one shot in the head, they're probably gonna die unless they have a helmet on.
yeah,
Like
unless they
you
have the frying pan.
know, or the frying pan.
Like, man, no, but I mean that just like goes to prove how bad I thought PUBG was dead. Like, I just stopped paying attention to it. I just did all this good stuff. It was like, like Warzone and Fortnite and Apex were like they were the new shiny toys, and I was just like,
Like know how bad it was
I
with
was
PUBG. Let me
I
grab
was
this real
just
quick.
I was just dropping Andy. I was like, don't want to play with you anymore.
So like as people, I was anybody who's listening to this audio and not watching the video, I was trying to grab from my shelf. When PUBG first dropped on Xbox, they were like, "Oh, there's a physical copy," and I was like, "Cool, I bought it." Bought the physical copy, but it's like a paper, like it's like cardboard. It's not even like a normal case, and it comes with a digital code in the physical copy. And I was like, I'm really mad, but I was like, I'm kind of happy because I have like a case that goes on like my shelf at the time, and I was just like, man. But yeah, PUBG.
Yeah, but that's a physical digital copy, so like that's a piece of history.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
it's priceless, right? But
That's
no,
a physical digital copy, so you
yeah,
got something physical at least.
yeah, right.
But good to see that coming out of there.
But I'm excited to
But
talk about the mode because it looks like it's kind of like a zombie mode. So it almost looks like the zombie mode from State of Decay, or even like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it looks like it's going to compete even with Call of Duty's open world zombie mode that's going to be coming out on the Warzone map. So like
Honestly, I think if anybody can do it better, it's gonna be PUBG.
we'll see. Only time will
To
tell.
be completely honest, because they're not gonna add any stupid like qualifiers to like, oh well, you have to be in this specific area to get a zombie. I feel like they would just open that shit up. Doesn't matter where you drop, they're gonna be there, like an actual, real open world zombies.
Yeah,
Like I think they could do it, and that's what it looks like to me. It looks great.
yeah, man.
But
Let's talk about
moving on
another
here,
survival here.
yeah, to another survival game, we got Second Extinction. This has received its final update, so it looks like it might be a final extinction for this because it will be ending development and is going to be pulled from storefronts.
Yeah,
So,
this is sad because
yeah,
this seemed like a interesting game, like an interesting concept, and I know like whenever it first came out to early access, it came to Game Pass like day one, so I was like, yo, Roger, we should give this game a go. And we were like, all right, yeah, that's cool. Hopped on, we were just like, man, this is awful. Like they have a long ways to go if this is going to be anything that's going to be viable, something that's going to be playable. Because like, don't get me wrong, like I love dinosaurs and I love first-person shooters. Like the idea was there, but they dropped the bag on this one. And I'm trying to bring out some gameplay here, and like maybe it's better now than what it was when I first played it, but like it clearly didn't reach the bar that they wanted because they were like, we just can't save this game. It's still in early access. Like it's never going to leave early access. It's going to die in early access, and it's sad to see because this concept could have turned out really well, but it seems like Exoprimal just did it better.
and even that kind of fell off a little bit, at least for me as a player.
Yeah,
So, if Exoprimal did it better, then I would have hated to play what Second Extinction gave us.
right.
But moving out of some games that no one has really played, and I know you've played this quite a bit. What's happening over at Valorant?
Yeah, man. So the new agent was announced, and their name is ISO. It will be a duelist. So I'm just gonna get the video up here up on screen, showcasing the abilities. This one's interesting. Like one of the alts takes them into like a 1v1 gulag, and like you can win or lose. But apparently, like if neither one kills them, they'll both die. So I was like, okay, pretty interesting there. And then like one of the abilities is like to like prevent like any damage from a certain amount of time. Like if you kill somebody, you grab an orb, you're like invincible for like a second from any kind of damage. So I guess it's similar to like how Reyna like kills somebody, grabs her orb, she's invisible, but you can still see her, but she's in like can't touch her.
Mhm.
So that one's interesting. And I think like we're seeing here, there's like another one. I actually don't really know all of the moves specifically, but and we're just seeing them here on screen. Then there's like a wall that he can push and like follow because like it's also like curved, so it's like hidden cover behind cover, and he can move out of it. And then like I think it like stuns you for like a second as well. And then it says the molecular bolt. That's the next one here that they're about to showcase. So I guess it's supposed to like stun you or blind you or something like that. Like this agent seems really interesting, but the fact that like the alt seems weird, where it takes you into like a 1v1 arena, and like you could probably die in this arena, and it wouldn't be good for you. So I just don't see like how that's beneficial. So I'm just really curious to see how this plays, like even in ranked play or like even competitive scene, like with the pros and stuff. Because we were seeing some highlights from the pros playing with it, and it was like, yo, like that character can be off the charts, but how's a new player gonna play with it too? Like, or somebody around my level, you know. Only time will tell. But let's go ahead and move on to our next one here with another shooter. Fortnite is doing a collaboration with Alan Wake. They're doing a map known as Alan Wake Flashback, and with this, it's a map that was created in the Unreal Engine through Fortnite, and it's a way that you're going to be able to experience the original Alan Wake story, but told in Fortnite. So, highly recommend going and checking us out because Alan Wake 2 just dropped here at the end of the month. So this gives you a chance to like kind of get caught up on the story without having to play the game, make it interactive, and get you set up for the next game. Looks really good though.
I would say if you had the option though, play the game.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It's one of the greatest games I think ever made.
It's the storytelling is amazing. I mean, honestly, if you have the time, if you would play Fortnite and Alan Wake, just play Alan Wake.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the trailer from the Fortnite experience because like it's gonna be different. Like because like the original Fortnite like had or the original Alan Wake had like that thriller, that suspense, like the darkness. But like you're in Fortnite, so like you're gonna have that like cartoon kind of look to it. But nonetheless, it looks really fucking accurate to the game. Because like I did
It
recently
does.
play it a
It,
couple years
yeah.
ago, and I was like, man, that's pretty fucking dope.
No, it does look accurate. It just it looks very accurate from a third person perspective
Hmm.
that you're getting through the Fortnite universe. Um, and you just can't beat the being the one responsible for how the game goes through and how the game just plays out. I mean, man. Mm.
Yeah, for sure. And let's go ahead and round out our gaming news here, just with some quick updates to some of the other games that we've talked about in the past. First off, is Liza P. Just quick milestone here for them is they officially sold over 1 million copies. So that's impressive there from a smaller studio. Because if I'm not mistaken, the people NeoWiz, this is like their first big game because they've previously helped out with like some Sanabi, Skull, the Hero Slayer, Brave Nine, like they're much smaller games. So this was like their first big time game, and it's awesome to see because they did really fucking good with Liza P. And the fact that it dropped on Game Pass day one and they still sold 1 million copies, shout out to them on that one. Next up is Phasmophobia. This game is already out on PC, but the console version has since been delayed due to an undisclosed date due to unforeseen challenges. So sad to see there, but hopefully we see it soon. That's a really fun game. That's anybody that's eager or excited to play those scary horror games. That'll be one to check out. Next up is Like a Dragon Gaiden. This is some sad news here because I I struggle to play the games if they don't have an English dub, and this game will not feature an English dub at launch. So I'm glad I'm probably not going to check this game out for a long time. So maybe when I do, the English dub is there. But some people enjoy playing
Will
these
it
kind of
have
games where it's
the?
only Japanese.
Do they have any word on it? Will have the English sub though, like or like you'll be able to read it,
I would assume
or
so. I'm sure subtitles will be there, but like people with the English accent, like English voice in the
mm,
English language, aren't going to be in the game at launch. But and then last up here for quick updates is Apex Legends. They did announce an event for November 7th where it will be featuring Post Malone. So something a little different here with Apex Legends. Maybe they're trying to do more of like the Fortnite events, maybe some concerts. Not sure what's going on here. They just did like a little teaser saying, "Hey, upcoming event with Post Malone. Come check us out on November 7th." We're like, "All right, we'll see." But that is all of our gaming news we have for you this week. Let's go ahead and end out the episode here with our leaks and rumors. Alright, I'm going to kick it off here with a leak from Xbox. According to Seasoned Gaming on Twitter, the next Halo is rumored to be in development over at 343 Industries. Um, maybe we'll see it soon. Maybe we're not. I think we might be a little ways out. Just hopefully they do great with the next Halo. But Scott, PlayStation also had some leaks this week.
Yeah, I hope we see a good Halo game come out of here just right off the rip. But moving on to PlayStation, where we have PSN data has reportedly hinted at trophies coming to PlayStation PC games. That's good for anybody who wants to be able to have those kind of achievements in their game. Be able to say, "I did this, you didn't. Fuck off!" Like that kind of fun stuff. That little back and forth banter. Should be fun. And then we also have the PS5 Slim release date leaked for November 8th, and there will be a Spider-Man 2 bundle. So not only will you get the PS5 Slim, you will get about 8 hours of gameplay with the Spider-Man 2 bundle.
Here you go. It's like a free demo. Oh wait, it's the full game. Never mind.
Oh, no, no, that's the full game. But speaking of things that sometimes disappoint, what's going on with Walmart?
Yeah, so this is kind of like a follow up to when we were talking about how Best Buy said that they're going to be ending like physical releases for like different media and whatnot. But apparently, Walmart is rumored to be the next brick and mortar store to stop selling physical media. And one of their first ones will be Xbox games because I mean I even talked about with this at Play and Trade. The guy over at Play and Trade, he was like, yeah, Xbox games physical content doesn't leave the shelves as fast as say PlayStation, but that's because Xbox prefers to sell digitally as opposed to PlayStation does as much. And Xbox has been trying to do this since 2013 with the Xbox One, and they
Well,
were like,
and that
no.
just goes back in, yeah, to that bullshit where they want us paying more for something we can't even physically hold in our hands anymore. Like, this needs stopped. If you're watching this and you're just as angry as I am, please rise up. I will join you. I promise.
Yeah, I think physical copies should always be sold at no matter what, no matter how many sells. At least leave it as an option because there will always be collectors. There will always be the people that need to have that physical copy in their hand for something that they purchase.
Well, it's not even just having to have a physical copy. Like, it's like you're owed a physical copy. You're paying physical copy prices,
Right.
and they are spending digital copy money.
Yeah.
That is it. That's really it. They're spending digital copy money, and you are paying physical copy prices.
Yeah. And it
Your
sucks.
your internet goes out for whatever reason. Comcast fucked up again, and now all of a sudden you can't get online because you can't
Play your
play your
game because you
digital
can't get
copy of
online.
your
Yeah.
game. Like, asinine. This is something I've been pretty wildly against
Yeah.
forever. Is just
And I
you're
never
paying
understood like
more for less.
I
That's
just
not how this shit's supposed to work.
I'm just curious if there's something that they could set up where, like, because digital copies, right? You still have to download the entire game. If I download the entire game, but the internet goes out, I can no longer play it. But like, why can't I? Like, just give me the like store my license of the game in the game files. Then if I'm offline, I can still play the game. Like, I don't see the
Because fuck your
reciprocity.
license. That's why. If you don't have a physical copy, you don't have a fucking license to that game.
Shit's so weird.
You're buying borrowed IP.
Pretty much, you're just renting it
Like
long
that,
term. So
you're renting IP. Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely asinine. Hate that. Hate that stuff. And I could go on forever and ever about that. But something that I will go on for about 5 to 10 minutes here is the Neo Flip DS. So if anybody is familiar with Neo or anybody who is not familiar with Neo, uh, I wouldn't necessarily call them a knockoff. This is kind of a knock up. They have been doing some third party hardware for a lot of people's favorite systems. And the one I'm going to talk about now is going to be the DS. So leak looks kind of like a Nintendo DS that is gonna be coming out here, and I mean this thing is just it looks so good. It
Yeah.
really really does. It's got your DS with a full screen. It's got joysticks. I mean it looks sleek, nice, well designed, and he has it on the screen here along with her mixing the pots. It looks fantastic, honestly. Um, I mean, it just looks awesome, and I hope that this comes out and can do everything we want it to and more. I mean, that full wide open screen on the top is already something to admire. And then if you look and you see the controls, you see the joysticks, you see like how it's gonna hold in your hand. Honestly, S tier.
Yeah, it looks fire.
It looks fantastic. As a piece of quote unquote third party hardware, this looks great, and this should have been like a next evolution for the Nintendo
This
DS.
should have been the new 3DS.
It should have been. It should have been, but unfortunately,
It
they
wasn't.
didn't. So somebody else did,
Right.
and these guys did it.
Yeah, man. So that is all of our leaks and rumors, and that does round out our episode. We do want to shout out everyone who did come through and check us out live here on Twitch today, and anyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. But Scott, where can the community find you at?
Well, not as always. You can find me on twitch.tv/Scobie1, but I am looking to replay Alan Wake before Alan Wake comes out again, so I want to see what I can do there. You might catch me on there. If you want to get a hold of me on Discord, which will be used to usually chat any day, my name's Scobie1 there. Battle.net, if you want to get a hold of me, play some games, Scobie1, 11780. And if you just want to get a hold of me, get into my DMs, talk, chat a little bit, or see what I'm up to, you can always hit me on Instagram. My name is Scobie1.
And of course, everyone, check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin underscore. Threads is also Mr. Never Chillin. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. If you want a game party up, hit me up there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher for any questions, concerns, or even if you want to come on the show, hit me up there. And I stream over on my Twitch at twitch.tv/, Mr. Never Chillin, where I'm currently playing through Liza P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. So it is a busy, busy time in the gaming world. But we do want to thank everyone again. And until next time, peace.
Press start podcast.